Hi everyone and welcome back. In today's video, we are continuing with our chakra series.
Yes, indeed. We're doing the hand chakra. Everybody's like, oh, the hand chakra is Venus. Everybody, it's not the heart. Venus is not the heart chakra. She's the hand chakra. Okay. Does that mean she's not as important? No, not at all. She's the hand chakra. She's controversial in our system because most people get upset with me when I say it's not the heart chakra. I've had people leave groups before I even get a chance to explain why, because they get upset with me about that.
Right, right.
I've been attacked about something somehow with the patriarchy because of that from certain people. It's been strange. I don't know why. Okay, but the hand chakra, it does have something to do with the heart, but it has to do with the heart itself, the muscle, okay, acting with the endocrine glands, acting as essentially oversight for the endocrine glands. You know, your endocrine glands are the ones that send out all of the hormones throughout the body, and they do it in a particular way. You know, we've talked about a little bit about that before, where, you know, when something breaks through our auric field, and all that information rushes in. It goes into Saturn, so it goes into the root chakra. Okay, and with Saturn's help, because it's over the root chakra, that's it organizes it, organizes all that energy, organizes it. Doesn't think about anything, just organizes all of it. Sends it up to the throat chakra, which is the other hub. Okay, so Mercury processes, disseminates all of that information, and then it takes it and it disseminates it through all the other chakras, determining where it needs to send it.
Okay.
The problem with that particular system is that certain things require us not to think before we move. Take martial arts. If somebody throws a punch at you, you don't have time to think about that person threw a punch at me. Do I want to do an inside block, an outside block, a high block, a low block? Do I want to step out of the way? Because by the time you're done thinking about that, you've been punched.
Right.
You just need to react. The heart and Venus are reactionary. Venus is over all of our senses.
Makes sense.
All of them. So in doing that, she can take in all of that information. She doesn't have to think about it. The heart produces its own neurons, and it's not the brain, so it doesn't think. But it's conscious. And what she ends up doing is she consciously will send information through the bloodstream right to whatever chakra it is. Like, let's say you need to move out of the way. It's a car coming. Okay, and you don't have time to think about, well, should I move left, right? Should I jump? Should I free? What? She's going to send a ton of information to the Dallas chakra, Mars, and Mars is going to go, get out of the way and move. Boom, we're moving. And that's the big difference. Okay. And that's why she's so important. She is the intimacy aspect of the heart. She's the relationship aspect of the heart. She's the structure aspect of the heart. Because the heart does a lot of things.
Right.
That's Venus's control of the heart. And it's the muscle part of the heart. It's the structure of the heart. Okay, the heart chakra is Pluto. That's the transformative part. Okay, she's over relationships. That would be the Libra aspect. She's over physical intimacy. That would be the Taurus aspect of it. She's over structuring who you are, what you think, how you think about. Was your heart in it? Again.
Right, and what you value. Yeah, absolutely.
Yes. Yeah, and your value system. That's Venus's part of the heart. Pluto's part of the heart is, okay, our values have changed. We need to transform. The heart chakra takes over. That's Pluto's job. Pluto transforms.
Right.
Okay. Pluto is the desire aspect of it. It's the passion aspect of it. Okay. But in the negative form, the Pluto's part of the heart is also where you get stalking, you get domestic violence in relationships, and that's Pluto going off kilter because of Aries and Scorpio. That is
Yeah.
not, has nothing to do with Venus.
Hmm.
You know, Venus's part is, hey, we want to balance and harmonize and make everything good. We want to relate with people, and we need communication, and we need to talk, and we need to do all these things. Okay, and Venus says, no, we need to slow down. We need to be grounded. Okay, we need physical contact, but it doesn't need to be just sex. Physical contact. Okay, where you
Hmm.
just want to sit with somebody or be with somebody. That need.
Right,
That,
right.
okay, and that nurturing aspect
Hmm.
of wanting to be nurtured and wanting to nurture somebody else. That's Venus's part. Okay, it's located navel area. Okay, it's located above the sacral and below the solar plexus chakra. That's where she's at. Okay, and again, the endocrine gland, we're going to call it the heart, but it's not an endocrine gland; it's a muscle. But like the endocrine gland, it controls hormones. Okay, like the heart, or I'm sorry, like the brain, the heart has neurons.
Right.
No, thousands of neurons.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Okay, but it doesn't process them like the brain does. She's more instinctive
Hmm.
with hers. Okay, and again, it's Venus. The angel association is Ardibahest, which is one of those Zoroastrians of the Amish Aspentus.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Okay. The element associated with her is Earth, mainly because of Taurus.
Right.
Okay, now she is Libra, so she's got air aspect too, but she's got the most potent of the Earth energies that she rules, and that's Taurus.
Right, right.
That's why she's Earth. She's more grounded, she's more motherly, okay, and she's more feminine. And again, that's Earth energy.
Well, again, and it's that structure aspect that
Yes.
we were just
Yep.
talking about.
Yep. Now, the color association is amber with her. Okay. And amber symbolizes elegance, serenity, simplicity, warmth, okay, softness. Okay. That's what we associate that kind of stuff with
Hmm.
Venus. Okay, warmth, positivity, increased physical and mental energy. Okay, signifies positive energy and courageousness. Okay, but courageousness like a mother bear
Right.
when you get too close to her children. That kind of courageousness. Okay, so again, difference than the Aries Scorpio stuff.
Mm.
It's more protective in that function. Okay, physical functions. Okay, physical intimacy, touch, skin. Okay, she's over the breasts and sexual activity. Okay, psychological functions, intellectual intimacy. Okay, lust. Um, uh, there is desire there, contentment and comfort. Okay, and she shares desire with Pluto. Pluto has it through Scorpio, which is feminine,
Hmm.
and desire is feminine. But because she's Earth, she's also feminine. She gets that type of desire from there. Okay, and a lot of that has to do with value desire as opposed to just like a sexual desire.
Okay. Okay.
And that burning need, expressive desire. It's more internal. Okay. Spiritual functions: spiritual intimacy, worship, fellowship, enlightenment, joy, and grace.
Interesting. Okay.
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 That's her. Okay. And with Venus, the most comfortable you feel in your chart is where Venus is.
Interesting. All right.
Yep.
All right.
So, okay. So, heart chakra. It's love. It's a lure because of Venus again. Okay. The tie-in with Venus. The Libra energy. The hand chakra wants balance and harmony. Okay. So, left and right.
Hmm.
Okay. That's kind of what we do. Okay. Now, most people are not completely balanced. Most people either right-handed or left-handed. Most people are not ambidextrous.
Right. Right.
Ambidextrous people work Venus really well. Okay. And you can be kind of ambidextrous. I know some people that are like that. Okay. Well, people in the martial arts, again, karate training and all of that kind of stuff, when they get into weaponry, a lot of them can use weapons with both hands. Great. They can only write with one hand, but they can do other things with the other hand.
Right.
I
Right.
know people who do that too. It's kind of strange. You know, well, I do this with my left hand, but everything else I do with my right, and things like that. You know, but there usually is some sort of a balance difference
Okay.
between which hand you
Okay.
use. Okay, and she is the hand over the hands. And again, touch,
Mhm.
Okay, temperature, texture. Okay, touch sensitivity, the need to touch someone.
Hmm.
Okay, the warmth that comes from that, comfort that comes from that,
Right.
having somebody close to you. That comes from Venus in the hand chakra. That's what she's all about. Okay, she's also Earth. So the hand chakra is all about Earth energy also. Okay, so it's physical, it's solid shapes, it's reserved, it's practical, it's about security, strength. And most people, you know, will look at it, the hand chakra, and look at Taurus and say, yeah, well, there's Libra. Yeah, Libra's about communication. It wants to interact. Okay, it needs that interaction. It needs that
Hmm.
communication. Okay, we don't talk anymore. We never talk. That's your hand chakra. Okay, we need to talk.
Okay.
We need to
Okay.
get going. We need to do things. We need, you know, we don't talk anymore. Those kind of things. So there's a lot of things that the hand chakra is over. However, a lot of people consider males the strength, but and it's a different kind of strength. We're not talking about the physical strength of going out playing football and and doing all those things. We're talking about stamina, okay, of holding a family together. That's generally
Right. Right.
Venus. She has that strength. She's the foundation. You there's some things in my personal life right now where that's being tested with um, you know family members right
Hmm.
now because one may be leaving shortly,
Right.
and um, that was the one that was the family foundation.
Hmm.
And it's kind of up in the air as to what will happen once she's not there anymore.
Right.
Take care of
Yeah. Absolutely.
everything, you know. And so, yeah, that can be a big problem. Now, when you were talking about the hand chakra, because every time we talk about chakras, we're always talking about something versus something else. Well, with the hand chakra, we're talking about dependence versus codependence. Okay? Dependence isn't a bad thing. It's not bad at all to be dependent on people. When people who are isolated and alone and solitary, okay, are not happy.
No, absolutely not.
A lot of them are miserable. A lot of them are a little crazy. They can get that way. Okay. So dependent is a person who relies on another person for support,
Hmm.
and that's the strength and stamina of the hand chakra in Venus. Is
Okay.
that support? Okay. Codependence is a person with an excessive emotional or psychological reliance on another person, a partner of some sort. Okay. And the problem with that is that you give everything over to them.
Interesting.
They're
Right.
not helping you, they're controlling you.
Hmm.
Or you've got two people who can't do anything without the other. So there's no independence at all. It's all interdependent. Can't function without this other person around. Can't do this without this other person around. And then you lose yourself in it.
Hmm.
And it's not about losing yourself, it's about unifying your strengths and being able to help the other person with their weaknesses
Right.
and vice versa. But codependence doesn't do that.
Hmm.
Codependence means I'm not strong enough. I need you. You have to help me. Okay, because I can't do anything on my own.
Okay. Okay.
Okay? I have to have you to do this. Okay, and it's to the point where it's excessive. Okay, and a lot of the times there will be a dominant in that particular relationship.
Hmm.
Okay, and a submissive in that relationship. And the submission isn't what most people think about when they attack with the patriarchy thing. A woman's supposed to submit to their. It's not that. It's not that type of submission. This type of submission is complete, total, total submission to anything and everything. And then they feed off the weaknesses of the other person. Okay? And they'll do things to bolster the weaknesses of other people.
Hmm.
If there's dependence on
Wow.
something,
Okay.
alcohol, drugs,
Hmm.
okay, whatever that is, they will feed the other person to keep them in that codependent state.
Hmm.
Okay, give them that escape, give them that distraction. Okay, give them that delusion
Yeah, keep them in
that
that
they need it, because all of those
delusional.
things, it
Yeah.
doesn't matter what it is. There's a cloud around all of it,
Right.
and once
Yeah.
you're in that haze, you can't think straight. You can't. Okay, and other people will come in and utilize that to their benefit
Hmm.
to try to maintain control over the situation and the other person. So codependence is a horrible thing to get into.
Right.
It's horrible to have to do that,
Hmm.
because you're essentially escaping and saying, I don't want to deal with, my issues. I'm just going to throw them all over here or forget that I have them, and this person's going to take care of everything.
Hmm.
Okay? And it's a delusional state to be in,
Absolutely. Yeah.
because at some point you have to face your stuff. You have to take responsibility for things that you do, and wake up and go, oh well, yeah, okay. Because at some point the other person isn't going to be there,
Right.
or you're going to the person who's dependent or codependent wakes up and goes, I've just wasted 10 years of my life. This isn't even me. Once they figure it out and go, what happened?
Hmm.
You know, and then they look around and it's like, well, you can't get that wasted time back. What are you going to do?
No, unfortunately, you can't.
Yeah. What are
Yeah.
you going to do now? Are you stuck here now?
Yep.
Because this is what you set yourself up for? And if you try to start over from scratch, how? You know, depending on how old you are. Let's say you're in your 40s. You going to go back to school?
Hmm.
At 40? You're going to compete with all of these young people for entry level positions at places?
Right.
Did you have kids? Do you have grandkids? What do you value now? Because a lot of your values will change over time. And it's like, well, I don't want to have to do that. And they can feel stuck
Hmm.
in a situation that they can't stand anymore, but they feel like they have to be there. And that happens a lot with people. And you have people that, seem to be in a relationship with each other, but hate each other,
Right.
you know. And that's usually resentment from the one that was codependent and the
Hmm.
one that wasn't. And sometimes it's not fair because you gave it over. This person was just like, okay, I'll take care of everything. And it's like, well, you resent me for doing that, but you did it. But at the same time, there are going to be things that the person who took control over did to get the control a lot of the times. So some of that resentment is worthy, but as we all know, resentment, it just eats you away
Oh, it eats
and
you.
destroys you.
It eats you from the inside out.
You know,
Absolutely.
and there's a lot of forgiveness that has to happen
Right.
for that. But a lot of times the damage is done to the relationship, and the relationship can't move forward anymore because of it. And that's the trap you want to stay out of.
Hmm. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I get that.
Because again, you have that thing where it's like, well, women are supposed to submit to men, and it's like, really? Have any of you been in a nuclear family? Because men generally don't run the household. Women do.
Right. Right.
Right?
Right.
You know,
Well, I mean that. Yeah.
men are usually like, we're doing what today?
Well,
Oh yeah, there's a
well, I mean,
concert.
yeah.
Oh yeah, there's a concert.
It's
Okay.
that. It's like that quote from My Big Fat Greek Wedding. One of the moms is talking. She's like, "Yeah, he may be the head of the family, but I'm the neck, and I
Right.
can turn the head wherever I want."
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So there's a balance that happens,
Hmm.
but the one that has the stamina to keep everything going is usually in a nuclear family, it's the mother
Right.
that does it. And it's just it's a delusion and a lie that the men run everything, because for the most part they don't.
Right.
They make
Absolutely.
decisions
Yeah.
for certain things, but for the most part, women run it
Hmm.
because they're the foundation of it.
Right.
They built it. They raised the kids. They took care of the house. They have decided, who's doing what sports. And just, I mean, that's, they're the ones that know everything.
Right. Right.
They've got all the knowledge. They're the ones that, it's that Virgo
Hmm.
analysis, 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 right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Research. They know everything. Blah, 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 blah. This is what we have to do. This is what has to be done. This is what needs to be done. Okay? These are the bills that need to be paid. Blah 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 blah. So and so needs cleats. So and so my cousins were hockey players. They need new sticks. They need tape. They need new skates. New this. New that. New that.
Right.
That was generally my aunt that did that, as far as I can remember. So yeah, that's a myth.
Hmm.
There needs to be a 50-50 balance on that.
Oh, absolutely.
But it doesn't need to be a competition. It just needs to be a balance. It needs to be a harmony in it, and not competitiveness.
Right.
You're not competing with each other to see who's in charge. You do this, I'll do this. And in the end, it's going to be well-rounded
Hmm.
and better for the family as a whole.
Right.
Kids will be better. Everything will be better. And that's a trap that's out there. And it's hurting Venus more than anything.
Hmm.
Because Venus is all, again, because of the Libra aspect, it's like, no.
Really, yeah.
It needs to be
Really.
balanced and harmonized. And then the Taurus aspect is we need to stay together.
Hmm.
You're destroying the structure. We're destroying the structure. Stop destroying the structure. Strengthen the structure. Keep it strong.
Build it. Yeah.
Yeah. Build it up. So when you have somebody to share it with when it's over, or not over, but when your kids are going and doing their own stuff, and then you've got the grandkids. Okay. But what you see is what you built.
Hmm.
Okay. And you still are a part of that structure until you're gone. And even after you're gone, you're a part of that structure because you've instilled that
Right.
into who's doing it now. And the problem is when there's nothing instilled for the ones that came after you,
Right.
there's nothing for them to instill because they didn't get it.
That's one of the
And giving up that whole, it's all about me to it's all about us. That's Venus also.
Hmm.
And that's your hand, again, your hand chakra does that.
Right.
Amber does that. The color amber. Okay. And that's what the hand chakra is all about. When you talk about sense enhancement and exercises for that, you're talking about strengthening your hand chakra.
Okay.
Okay. And your connection to Venus. Okay. But that's why the hand chakra is so important. And that's why the heart itself is so important. And that's why it doesn't matter that it's not the heart chakra.
Right.
Because the heart chakra and the physical heart are different. There's an interconnectedness to them, but they're different in how they work.
Hmm.
And it needs to be that way. It has to be that way. When you put them together, it's completely balanced. That's the wild part.
Hmm.
Because you've got air and earth from Venus, and you've got fire and water from Pluto, all connected together. And who do you think's in control of that? Which one's about balance and harmony? Venus.
Right. Right.
Okay. So Venus is actually more in control than Pluto when it comes to the heart. And it's when that gets out of balance
Hmm.
that Pluto goes a little crazy. And when it comes to the heart, that's when you get really bad things that happen. Again, you get the stalkers. You get the if I can't have you, nobody else can attitude.
Hmm.
That's Pluto. That's nothing to do with Venus at all.
Okay. Okay.
That is all Pluto and negative aspects of it. And that's the heart chakra, negative aspects of the heart chakra, which is what you don't want to work with.
Right.
When you get those out of control. But at the same time, the positive aspects you can use really well with Venus. passion, desire,
Mm.
okay? Okay? Lust, but not in a negative aspect for your partner,
Right.
okay? Keeping that desire going,
Yeah, keeping that
okay?
that
And then
fire, that
keeping
ball
that
on fire.
emotional
Yeah.
intimacy and the physical intimacy and connecting the whole thing together.
Mm-hmm.
And then your spiritual intimacy, and then your intellectual intimacy buried together. Your interests,
Mm-hmm.
okay? So your interests together, that's going to be Libra. Okay? Developing those things,
Okay.
that whole part of the union when you get for marriage is Libra is huge.
Mm.
You're taking the two and making them one, balancing the two sides. That's Libra's job.
Right. Right.
And that's the tie-in. That's Libra's job. Okay. Foundation that it's built on, that's Taurus's job. Okay. The drive for it, that's Aries' job, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the love itself, the emotional, that's Scorpio.
Right.
Okay. And tied all together in Venus and in your heart. The whole, my heart's breaking. They're not talking about their heart chakra. People grab their chest, they feel their heart breaking.
Mm-hmm.
Even with the Grinch. Grinch's heart did what?
Oh, group for was it 4 sizes?
I believe so. 4 sizes. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, hey. That's what we did. We opened it back up.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And the heart itself grew. The heart chakra didn't. The heart did.
Right.
Yeah, the heart chakra, you can tell that by the way he was acting in the beginning. All negative aspects of it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But the heart itself, he had no structure. He had no stamina for that. He had nothing.
Right.
He had a relationship, but it was with a dog. Not the same.
Right.
Yeah.
I was gonna say you totally see it with his
he was totally
law.
isolated with himself and all those things. Well, I don't want to get into the Grinch real big, but that's just a good analogy for it.
Right.
So
Right.
that's one of the big things that we're missing is our connection to Venus.
Well, that seems to be a pretty
Yeah.
Targeted, if you will.
Well, Venus is targeted, but she's also attraction, so she attracts being targeted too. It's almost like when people talk about they want, they're Venus and blah blah blah. They're really thinking Mars or Pluto. And it's almost like they're thinking the Pluto aspect of it, but they're turning it into the Mars aspect of it.
Hmm.
And it's like, what are you doing? Let's not do that.
Right.
Let's get back to the Venus aspect of it, where things are calm and you don't have to compete against each other. And you come home and things are harmonious.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's what everybody wants when they come home, for the most part.
Oh,
Including
yeah.
men.
I mean,
Men don't want to come home and have to compete with who's at their house. They do that at work.
well, no, that's it. That's exactly it. Is you
And
spend
women too.
8 hours a day competing in the workplace. You don't
Right.
want to come home
And do the same thing.
to do the exact same thing.
But it seems like a lot of women think that that's what men want. They want somebody who's going to challenge them. No, we don't. We get enough of that. That's why we like playing sports. That's why we work the way that we work.
Right.
Because it's hopefully a good competition between people that you work with.
Mm-hmm.
And each of you makes the other one stronger at work. It's like a partnership you have at work. So, but at the same time, those can take on negative aspects too. Where there's people at work you don't like, and you want to beat them. You always want to beat them. Blah 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 blah. But you'll find out after years that no, we actually helped each other more than hindered each other.
Mm-hmm.
That competitiveness. But you could leave that when you left work and go home and not have it.
Right.
And women in the workforce now are learning that too. They don't want to come home and all of a sudden go, what are you doing? I just left that. I didn't want to come home to that.
Right.
I want to come home and sit on the couch, watch a movie with you, listen to music, hang out with the kids or whatever, but I want something fun.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that whole "how was your day" kind of a thing. You know, somebody that you can vent a little bit to, but share your life with,
Right.
instead of building two separate lives and then going, "Look what we did." And that's what happens a lot now too. It's separate. It's not unified anymore.
Mm.
It's completely separated, and then everything's focused on your kids. And then when your kids grow up and they leave the house, you've got two strangers looking at each other.
Right.
Like,
Because
what happened?
Because that structure is not there. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, what happened? We forgot about our structure.
Mm.
And we thought they were our structure, and they're not our structure. We were supposed to be the structure for them.
Mm.
They're not supposed to be the structure for us. And that's one of the problems here too that we have. In our culture.
Right.
Society,
Right.
is a focus on that.
Well, again, it's that shift in focus away from balance and harmony.
Yeah.
Toward the competition, toward the, like you said, the Scorpio and Aries aspects.
Right. Don't have time. Don't have time. Don't have time. Too many distractions. Especially now with the computers and the phones and all the apps and all the what do you call it? The platforms.
Oh yeah, the social media and all that. Yeah.
Sucked into it. So when you come home, you're buried in that, and it's like, again, after a while, you look over and you're like, who is this person that I'm sitting next to?
Mm-hmm.
What happened? Well, you got distracted by way too much stuff, and you forgot to get distracted with each other, and got distracted with other people.
Right.
And that's the problem, because without a good structure, everything crumbles.
Right. Right.
When you forget about your foundation, what your foundation is supposed to be, what you structure falls apart.
Mm-hmm.
Because you never worked on your foundation.
Well, and you see that idea repeated throughout all of the ancient traditions,
Yeah.
the faith traditions on the planet. The one that we're here in this country that we're most familiar with is Christianity.
Right.
And Christ talked about that. The wise man that built his house on the sand, on the rock, and the foolish man that built his house on the sand.
Well, yeah. Yeah, and all those, rich people in California that found the same thing. They have houses that overlook these huge cliffs, and they're all eroding.
Right.
And it's like, oops, we can't live here anymore. But same thing. But that's why Venus is so important. And the hand chakra itself is so important. Because you have to get in touch with everything again.
Right.
And not get distracted by everything that's out there to stimulate things.
Mm-hmm.
And get back to what's real, stimulating yourself with real things, smells, sounds around you, not created things from like the computers or your phones or all of those things, AI generated, whatever.
Right.
But real people, the real interaction with people.
It's the interaction with people, but not just people. Interaction with the outdoors, interaction with
with real
nature,
things.
with
real stuff.
Go for a walk.
Right. Go for a walk, get out, do your things.
Reconnect.
Yeah, reconnect to everything. And enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's one of the problems, because she's all about joy too.
Right.
Venus in the hand chakra is about joy. And when you stop enjoying the journey, it's not worth taking it when you're done.
Right.
Because then it's over and you're like, I forgot to enjoy the process. Well, that's too worried about the next step.
That's a lot of, I think that's a lot of people these days too, is so focused on the destination.
Yeah. Or how much money they have. That's a big one. You need to keep accumulating money, and then they retire and they go, I have nothing to spend this money on.
Right.
I don't ever see my kids because I was too busy for them, and now they're too busy for me. Because that wasn't instilled with them. And it's things of that nature. And it's like, no. You got to get back to that. You got to get back to those are the roots. And sometimes it's impossible to get back to them because you never built them.
Mm-hmm.
But if you think about it, connect, reconnect. And if it's hard, it's probably because you did something. If you're the adult in the situation,
Mm-hmm.
you probably did something that causes the disconnection. So it's going to be harder on you to make the reconnection. You know. But again, that's why it's so important to connect to the hand chakra, because your hand chakra, it's the part on your physical body, it's the energy center on your physical body that connects you to your Venus.
Mm-hmm.
And when you have other things taking over for it, those connections die off.
Right.
And that's the problem. Once they die off, you either have to find something else to connect to, because sometimes reconnection is almost impossible at that point because of the damage that's been done.
Mm-hmm.
Do it, like I said, if there's no foundation, you have to move.
Right.
I mean, that's the thing on a house. If your foundation is screwed, there's not much you can't do anything.
You can't rebuild. Yeah.
Yeah, you can't rebuild anything. You can't build anything on top of it.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes it's not possible to fix the foundation. Other times it is possible to fix the foundation. Sometimes you have to remove the house and fix the foundation, put the house back, which is expensive. It takes a lot of time, but it can be done.
Right.
As long as everyone's willing to do it.
Takes a lot of effort, but
yeah, it does. And sometimes it's not as much effort as some people think it is.
Mm-hmm.
Some people think I can't do that because I did so much damage to these relationships. There's no possible way, and a lot of the times, that's just delusional.
Mm-hmm.
Because all it's going to take is a couple of phone calls. Because a lot of the times, especially if you have kids, that's what they want. They want to reconnect. And sometimes, as adults, we don't know how to do that without thinking that we're bothering them. You know, that's happened with me.
Mm-hmm.
I find myself doing that at times. And then I'll think, well, no. And then it's like, pick up the phone. And most of the time, it's like, yeah, sure. Let's get together. It's like, okay.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, but again, you know, getting in touch with Venus is extremely important. It's your heart. And you have to take care of your heart.
Absolutely.
You have to take care of your heart. Definitely. But that's all I got today.
All right.
Okay.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us. Hope this was educational for you. And we do look forward to seeing you next time. Remember to like and subscribe. Thank you.